Hey, this is Dirk Nowitzki, and you're listening to the Mavs Step Back podcast.
I like this, TK. I like that. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk get the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, it get tragic. Look with the ball, yeah, it get nasty. He'll drop 30, don't gotta ask him. Got Chris Stapps, coach at the Adam, I spaz like Dallas. I thought I'm rapping, God. If Luka shoot the ball, you know that it's cash. But my boy still living the past. Now he got my boy Chris Stapps, looking like Dirk and Nash in the gap. They just want a ring, wanna fill the gap on your team head. I ain't talking hats, dang, go relax. Still at the champ, defense still coming with the calabash flow. The man's the best on the flow. I'm wild, but yeah, I'm the GOAT. This game get cold. Yeah, you might need a coach, your friends turn into your foe. But I'ma just roll, gotta keep rolling your boat. Yeah, I swear I give them hope. I say I'm cleaner than the soap. This time of year proves who will really sink afloat for real. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, get tragic. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly.
All right, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the Step Back, a Mavs podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I'm joined as always by my DallasBasketball.com colleague, Matt Galatson, and we have the head of the DallasBasketball.com family with us tonight, Mike Fisher. Fish, how you doing?
If you cut off the head, you kill the snake.
That's exactly right.
Security all around me at all times.
Matt, how you doing?
Good. I'm excited about this whole Skype thing we got going on.
Yeah. This is the first time we've tried this out. We're gonna start doing a little bit more YouTube content and throughout the season, and get y'all a little bit. Let y'all see our beautiful faces, you know.
Yeah, we look great.
Awesome.
But look, we'll get into some Mavs topics and other things. But just to start out, as most of you know by now, DallasBasketball.com. We were on 24/7 Sports. We're now affiliated with Sports Illustrated, and they're in the process right now of integrating the Maven stuff into the Sports Illustrated stuff. So, Fish, you probably, even though Matt and I know a little bit about it, you probably know more than both of us combined. Can you just give the people
about
a general? Yeah, just
every subject. Oh, you mean the
yeah.
Sports Illustrated? Yeah.
But give the people just a general rundown of what's going on here.
I think not only am I not the type of person to say anything bad about our previous place, but I believe I'm contractually blocked from doing so. So, but
don't say anything we're gonna regret.
But Joel Cox and the people that brought me over there, first they brought us to Scout a long time ago, and that was in 2010, and it coincided with what became the Mavericks championship, and so that was fantastic because that partnership was Scout was with Fox, and that's what created me an opportunity to go on Fox Sports Southwest and do the studio stuff with Bob Ortegel and Nancy Lieberman, and just an incredible deal. And of course, the Mavericks go to the finals, and I'm doing a pre- and post-game show with Nancy Lieberman on the NBA Finals. So the opportunity to do those things was almost unmatchable. But Sports Illustrated matches it and exceeds it. The chance to be part of this brand, and what we're already seeing is that the Cowboys SI site, Cowboy Maven, cowboyssi.com or Cowboy Maven, is through the roof. With the numbers are embarrassingly large. I can't possibly be that good, but the so. And when you go to sportsillustrated.com and go try to click on Cowboys, it takes you to us. And when you click on Mavericks, it takes you to us. And so you can imagine the size of the audience that Sports Illustrated, with its 3 trillion people in the audience, are going to come see us. That'll be fun. In the meantime, obviously, it's growing pains. And there always has been. For 21 years of DallasBasketball.com, I went back and looked at what our page looked like 21 years ago. Now I was really proud of it because it looked like a newspaper. And even I don't know if you guys even remember it, but the lettering was like old-fashioned newspaper. You know, that whatever ancient English lettering.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Swivelly. Yeah,
now
I know what you're talking about.
like, I can't even read what that says. Is that a D? And so we've come a long way in the technology. We've come a long way in the look and feel. Something's new every day that an old coot like me has to learn. I think we've got some old coots and maybe some young coots too, who have been with us for a long time as readers that really enjoy db.com boards. And now we're going to try to make the marriage of what's called community with Sports Illustrated. And it will be as painful as when we changed things 2 years ago. It'll be as painful as we changed things in 2010 when we went to Fox. Because before that, it was just me. It was just me and David Lord, and obviously the 75-member staff. But there's been changes throughout, and this is another change. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to love it, but if you're watching this and you're wondering, yeah, I don't really like that, what you're doing over there. I get these every day, and I do read them, and I do try to respond to them. Fish, I don't like the color blue you're using. I'm just trust me, and these two guys too, and then people at Sports Illustrated that are even smarter than we are, if you can imagine it, in how to do community and how to get content right and crisp. Believe me, we are working on it, even though I haven't responded to every single person who hates that we're using the wrong color blue.
Yeah, and I mean, I think once people get used to it, they're really going to enjoy it. I know I've gotten used to it since it's gotten started, and I've downloaded the app, which definitely everybody listening, watching this, go to the App Store, whichever App Store you use, and type in Maven News and Community. That's their app. And it's really smooth. It operates great. You have all of our content on there. You can contribute to the community post on there. It's really nice. I mean, I've gotten used to it, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it once they get used to it as well.
And let me say, obviously, this is my job, and I'm help pay for this luxurious mansion with all the jobs I have, and so I take it very seriously. But there's still a labor of love factor here. And that certainly goes, Matt, for you, and certainly for Dalton, as I've told thousands and thousands of readers. I mean, you guys get beer money for what you do. And Sports Illustrated, as Matt so eloquently put it earlier today, Sports Illustrated is going to be so good for all of us that beer money is going to become champagne money.
Yeah.
It's going through the roof. And so we're going to get it there. But yes, there's going to be growing pains, and we appreciate your tolerance while we learn what you're doing. In terms of reading it on your phone, the app is light years from where we were. The content is still, I mean, I don't think I'm bragging when I say the content at DallasBasketball.com is unmatched. There isn't a media outlet in the country that does for a team what we do. And so many of our colleagues recognize that and view us as the granddaddy of Mavericks websites. Those things won't change. The things that you don't love, yes, get a membership on Community on DallasBasketball.com and go in there and say, I like this, I don't like this, I want more of this. And by the way, I love that story today that you guys have, exclusive, with Mark Cuban saying he's trying to figure out how to put Dirk Nowitzki into Mavericks ownership. Again, you might not love every single aspect of it, but content is what I care most about, and champagne money. And nobody matches our content. So even if you hate Matt's hat or you hate his beard, I don't know what you possibly hate about me, you still need to come here for the Mavericks content.
Right. Matt, you have anything to add to that?
No, it's just a work in progress. Everything is coming together very well. We did a training session earlier today with the Sports Illustrated people, and they gave us all the rundown on what's going to happen, and it's all really exciting. And we got new rooms coming to the DallasBasketball.com where we'll be able to find our podcast, all the episodes of our podcast. You'll be able to find every news story that we put out. We'll have a DB boards room as well eventually. So it's all going to come together really nice, and we think you're all going to love it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's just going to take time for people to adjust. I know it's not technically called DB boards right now, but I mean, it's the same concept. Everybody gets together and they talk about Mavericks issues, and everybody can communicate with each other. That's what it's about anyway. So we'll get used to it. Guys, next topic here. And Fish, this has a little bit to do with the Cowboys too. So I'm really interested in getting your perspective on it. But we've seen here lately, there's a big disparity in NBA trades versus NFL trades. So, like, let's say, is it Minka Fitzpatrick?
Yep.
Okay, so the Dolphins just traded Fitzpatrick, and I think they got 1 first-round pick in return for him, and he's a really good cornerback.
Yep.
Then you look at the NBA, and I mean, this might be, Paul George may not be the cross comparison we want to compare to Fitzpatrick, but he goes to the Clippers. The Clippers give Oklahoma City 6 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, I don't know who the perfect comparison for Fitzpatrick would be in the NBA, but I just don't think that you could see that type of trade in the NBA. Just giving up 1 first-round pick.
Let me take your thought in a slightly different direction. Obviously, Paul George can change the entire franchise, right? One Minkah Fitzpatrick can't. So there is that. But here's a bigger issue for me. I love that in the NBA, the players are partners with the owners. It's set up that way. They feel that way, and they have that much muscle. And as we move towards a new CBA, they'll probably have more. I think that's a great setup. I want players to make $1 trillion. I do. I want guaranteed money like they have in the NBA. The average NBA player, last time I checked, made $7 million a year, fully guaranteed. The average NFL player makes $1 million, not guaranteed. That's ridiculous. So yeah. I would love for the NFL players to catch up and fix that. But, and maybe I'm just an old white man, an old white curmudgeon. I don't like in the NBA that I sense that guys are going up to each other at the free throw line in the third quarter and saying, hey, we'd love you to come play for our team next year. I don't like that. And that's what's happening in the NFL right now a little bit. You got 3 defensive backs who are on 0-2 teams, including Jalen Ramsey, who's the face of the Jaguars, and they want out because they're 0-2. I'm like, dude, I'm paying I need you to be a leader, to dig us out of holes, not to climb out yourself when things are bad. So I don't have a magic answer, because free agency is great and guaranteed money is great and power is great. But sports aren't good when the 2 teams aren't really against each other. In the NBA, too often, the guys aren't really against each other, and I think that hurts the NBA.
Well, I mean, another thing, is it possible that the amount of players has something to do with it too? Instead of having, each team having 15 guys on a roster, you have an NFL team that has, 53 players on a roster?
Yeah, that goes back to how Paul George can change Paul George could change a whole city, not just a team, not just a franchise, and change a whole city. Minkah Fitzpatrick can't do that. That's a difference, yes.
Matt, what you think about this?
Well, I mean, obviously Fish is the expert on this, but it kind of goes back to what he said. It's all about player empowerment, and the NBA has figured out a really great way to bring all that together for the players. And the NFL just isn't there yet. And, they have to figure out a way for the owners and the players to come together and discover a new way to make this thing work. I mean, football is the most dangerous sport on the planet, and the fact that they make $1 million not guaranteed is, I mean, it's like Fish said, it's ridiculous. People's lives are totally changed by CTE and all the various injuries that they have in the NFL. And the NBA, there's injuries, but there's not a potential to lose your life based on a brain injury. And that's where the NFL players and the owners need to come together and say, look, we need to make sure our players are taken care of. And then that all eventually translates into the trades and, with the CBA and all that stuff. But for now, I mean, there's just too far of a gap there.
But don't you guys agree? Okay, like look at Anthony Davis in New Orleans. That's not good for sports.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I decided I don't love it here anymore. Otherwise, I mean, if you let this go on forever, how would a Buffalo ever have a team? Why would a Detroit ever have a team? How much do people want to play in Utah? How much do they want to play in Portland? And so you've got to find some way. Maybe like real free agency is the way, and maybe quicker free agency is the way. No, you can't escape now. You can escape at the end of your contract, and the end of your contract is faster. But this goes back to the super team thing in Miami, when we all know that under Pat Riley, they plotted that for over a year. And they plotted it after the 2 guys played against each other. They'd go out to dinner and talk about what we're going to do next year. I know it's not, 1890, and the Cincinnati Reds aren't all farmers from Cincinnati who wear red stuff. I get that. But I like that the Cincinnati Reds represent Cincinnati, not that they're going, man, in this we're losing in the 7th inning. I'd like to be traded right now to Pittsburgh, and that's where the NBA is, and that's where the NFL is going.
Well, and I really think the communities themselves play a big role in it, because this is just an example. And look, I know from what I can gather, it seems like a guy like Anthony Davis and a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo have different personalities. But you see how the Milwaukee community, embraces and supports that team no matter what. And it seems to me that I don't know exactly what their numbers are with attendance and everything, but it seems to me like, there's a bunch of people there on a nightly basis. And, I go down to New Orleans every time the Mavs are playing down there. And even when the Pelicans have been good, and even, a year before last when they made the playoffs, they're a good team. It just seems like there's never anybody there. They're just all New Orleans Saints. And I don't know how much that plays into it, but if I'm a guy that's, like Anthony Davis, hasn't won much, and has a thought in his mind like, oh, maybe I need to get out of here, I feel like that would contribute to it a little bit.
Well, then let's all go play for the Lakers. Because the Lakers are probably going to have good crowds because it's the biggest city, one of the biggest cities in the world. New Orleans isn't. The Lakers have, LA has plenty of affluence. New Orleans is a little short on affluence in the last 15 years, right?
Right.
And
well,
play for the Lakers. And the other thing, you can live in Malibu. New Orleans doesn't have a Malibu. And we will make you a Hollywood producer, which is the unfair advantage. That's why the Lakers are the Lakers, because you could be a movie star. Oh, you're ugly? Well, fine. You could be a movie producer. It's an extra zillion dollars that's available to a guy that they don't have in Buffalo or Cleveland. I disagree with you about Milwaukee. Before Milwaukee was good, I don't think that was an attractive place for anybody. It's only attractive.
No, I wasn't saying they were. I was just saying, like, now, when they have a good team right now.
Yeah.
So that community is showing out. And when New Orleans had a good team, I went down there a few times, and I mean, they never showed out. So
what if that's the, as you know, the people that run the New Orleans basketball team run the football team.
Saints, yeah.
You're the general. What? You're in charge of you're in charge of the basketball team when? Like during lunch of the Saints? So maybe part of the problem in New Orleans is they don't take very seriously how to run a basketball program.
Yeah. And maybe things will change because David Griffin is in charge down there now, and he's off to a good start just in the offseason, so we'll see how it goes. But that's just one thing that popped into my mind. Matt, you have any thoughts on the –
Well, I mean, New Orleans has a chance to start over now because Anthony Davis is gone, and they have Zion coming in. They have all the new players, and they have David Griffin. So, they have a chance to build something different there, and hopefully it can become something better and more exciting for the community. I mean, knowing people from New Orleans that I went to school with, there's just not a lot of people down there that care about basketball.
Right.
I mean, there's not a lot of Daltons in Seminary, Mississippi that are driving however long to New Orleans to go to a basketball game. There are a lot of people from Seminary driving to New Orleans for football games, though. And I think that's where the biggest difference is.
How soon can Zion get out of there?
In like a year.
Under Zion, but in 2 years, Zion's going to say, this sucks, isn't he?
Probably.
That's the problem.
I guess it just depends on how good the team is. But, I mean, if it goes about how I'm sure we're all expecting, then, I mean, yeah. I mean, you never know.
They're starting from ground zero again.
Yeah.
Zion's going to, this is why Dirk's Dirk. And why there's only one of him. We thought Kevin Durant was Dirk in Oklahoma City. No, he's not.
Even close.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's their right. I'm not begrudging them that. But I'll tell you this, if I was drafting and trading guys, drafting four and trading four guys, I would have in mind, is he interested in this community? Is he an LA guy? I hope Luka embraces the fact that we're us.
Yeah.
And he's one of us. But I don't, we don't know him well enough to know that. So
I will say this: he seems like a pretty loyal guy.
okay. But okay, just for the sake of argument, doesn't he also seem like a pretty Hollywood guy?
Sometimes.
Sometimes he can, yeah.
Doesn't given the fact that he was a superstar at 14, don't you think that he's already kind of thought, man, not thought I got to get out of Dallas, not that, but at some point, I really do want to meet Jennifer Aniston. That wasn't just an internet joke. I really could date a Hollywood starlet, right? Again, he's got a lovely girlfriend now, so no offense to you, but you guys know what I'm saying. What is the guarantee that any guy in any city won't look for greener pastures?
You don't have one.
Yeah, I guess. So you try to find the right guy, and then to the Mavericks' credit, because Cuban and company don't get enough credit for this. Dirk didn't just stay because he's Dirk. Dirk stayed because Cuban's Cuban, Donnie's Donnie, this community's this community. It all came together. So let's do it again, and let's do it for 2 of them this time.
Yeah. Well, hope it works out. And, we're actually going to jump into a actual Mavs topic here, branching off of what Fish just said. But, we're getting really close to training camp, and then it'll be preseason. And then next thing you know, the regular season is going to be here, and we're going to be off and running. So my question to both of you guys is, what do you think the Mavs starting lineup is going to look like when we get to October 23rd? And they're playing the Wizards at American Airlines Center on opening night? We'll start with you, Matt, and then I'll move over to Fish.
To be honest, I hate these conversations because you never really know how training camp's going to go. And I can't tell you how many times people have called me an idiot on Twitter for saying Dirk's not going to be a starter last year or whatever. And it's fun because I'm usually right and I don't care. But I think you're going to see DeLon, Luka, Justin Jackson, KP, and Dwight Powell. You can put the positions and label them however you want to. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what their responsibility is on a certain defensive possession or what their game plan is. I hate calling people point guard, power forward, center. It's all the same in today's league pretty much. You're either a big, you're a guard, or you're a wing. So I think that's probably your starting five. I could see a case for maybe Lucas sliding into a wing spot. He's still gonna have the ball in his hands a lot, and someone like Seth Curry or Tim Hardaway Jr. starting. But I think they need those guys off the bench because they can score, and they don't have a lot of people on the bench that can score. So yeah, DeLon, Luka, Justin Jackson, KP, and Dwight are probably your five.
If there was a game tomorrow, I bet you that's who'd line up.
Yeah.
Seth Curry, remember a couple of years ago, he was going to start. Then he had then something was wrong. And that was the end of that. So it's not like Seth Curry hasn't earned some cred as a guy that can start a game. I think it might be more night to night than most people think. Yeah. This is a good night for this guy. I also think, especially in the case of Wright, no offense, but he might have a streak where he's not very good. He's never been a starter, not really. So the possibility that he has ups and downs and that Carlisle goes, all right, that's 2 downs in a row. That's enough for you.
Yeah.
We got to change it up. Justin Jackson kind of in the same boat. And to the point where we should find some over-under on the number of games that J.J. Barea starts. Because it's not 0. It
should be, but
it's not. Not only given injuries, but given the ups and downs of stuff. If they're trudging around and they're stalled, J.J. Barea will get you unstalled, right?
Right.
Well, we don't know because he's
he's
an unknown. He's an unknown right now because we don't know how the Achilles is going to affect him.
A healthy J.J. Barea will not get 0 starts in this year. But I'm going with your starting five, and more than that, this is the bigger point. What the Warriors helped invent, the Mavericks have emulated now for a couple of years and tried to figure out how to get there, and now they're there. Porzingis is a 4 and a 5 who can do some 3 things on offense. Luka is everything but a 5.
Yeah.
At 100%.
Big dude.
And DeLon Wright is a gigantic 1. And what position does Dwight Powell play? It's kind of whatever, right? Maxi Kleber, it's kind of whatever. So I like that for Carlisle. I think Carlisle as a pregame and in-game coach, obviously, I think we all agree, is outstanding. So his ability to say, tonight's a good night for you to be there and you to be there, and we're going to run this play through you because of the matchup advantage we have. The interchangeable man. That's what the Mavericks are this year.
Yeah, I agree with both of you here. Now, positionally, I really feel like, and we'll get a better idea of this once we get to training camp and preseason and everything, but I really think they're going to run Luka at the point guard position. Not as a wing. He's going to be handling the ball anyway. But my point is, I think they'll have him at point guard. I want to say they'd have DeLon Wright as a shooting guard, and then Justin Jackson, KP at the 4, and then Dwight Powell at the 5. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm really high on Justin Jackson, as both of you guys know. We had him on the podcast a few weeks back. Really good dude, and he's been putting in a ton of work this summer. He's ready to take a leap, so we'll see how it pans out. But, I mean, I'm really, really high on him right now. I think Luka and KP, though, they're the only two that we can say, okay, these guys are going to be starters for the whole season.
Yeah.
Like Fish was saying, interchangeable. I could easily see Seth Curry starting. I could easily see Maxi Kleber starting. There may be some nights where they don't go with Justin Jackson and they go with Dorian Finney-Smith. You never really know. So I think we're all on the same page there. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out. But one thing I really love about this team is that there's more length than Carlisle has ever had, in my opinion. So there's not
shortest starter.
What's that?
DeLon at 6'7" is the shortest starter that we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, I mean
I think he's 6'5". Is he?
Well,
is he?
It's not. He's somewhere in that range. He's long and he's
Still.
athletic. the thing is, it's the biggest starting lineup Rick Carlisle's ever had.
Right.
He doesn't have a little point guard, and the last time he didn't have a little point guard as his primary starter, they won a championship. So,
yeah.
Let me throw this in there too. And I learned, I guess I should have seen this a long time ago, but in doing Texas Legends games and Coach Mack was in charge there, he helped me understand that Carlisle's system, which they ran there, which is smart, have your G League team run the same thing as the varsity, that it's 2 point guards. It's, no matter what we call them, it's shared responsibility that Carlisle likes to have 2 of them who can both do that thing. And so again, whatever label you want to put on Wright or Luka, they both figure to be starting backcourt ball handling, playmaking guys.
yes.
Right. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it turns out because there's so many different combinations Carlisle can come out with on a night-to-night basis. But like I said, we'll have a better idea of it once we get into training camp. But moving on, Fish, you heard about this week and you put a piece on DallasBasketball.com about it. But the Texas Legends, they hired former Mav great Jason Terry as their assistant general manager. And I want to get your thoughts on that, what you think it means, for the Legends, what it means for Jason Terry. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what could be coming for Dirk in the future as well.
All right, I'll handle the Jet, and Matt will handle the Dirk.
Okay.
I thought that Jason Kidd did this all wrong. When he retired, and of course he went out on kind of a bad note because he, recruited people to leave Dallas recruited people to stay in New York instead of coming to Dallas, if you recall. I thought he was taking a job as an assistant general manager here and gone slow and learned the business. Now, instead, he got a coaching job right away, and so good for him. But now he's bounced around. I think I wish for the Mavericks and for Kidd that he would have been an assistant GM here and stayed here and learned how to do it. To be he's the highest BBIQ guy I've ever covered, But that doesn't make you a general manager or a head coach. I think Terry's doing this the right way. Surely there's some place where Jason Terry could go and get some honorarium NBA job. Surely he could. But do you really want to be a general manager someday? Then you don't want to be an honorarium guy. You want to roll up your sleeves and work. And I look forward to Jason Terry rolling up the sleeves and work, because again, the legends are the Mavericks. It's just the junior varsity.
Right.
And so I love the idea that Jason Terry is going to really pay his dues and really see if he likes this, because I don't think he needs it. Really see if he likes this, really see if he's good at it, and then get good at it, and then someday be an NBA general manager. By the way, same thing Michael Finley is doing. Michael probably go do something now where he's out in front of, where he gets to, be in the middle of the stage. But instead, he's trying to learn how to be good at this, and he's learning from Donnie Nelson and Mark Cuban, pretty good tandem of professors.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's just nice to have Jet back. Being a part of the Mavs family, because he left. He played for the Rockets, the Celtics, the Nets. I can't remember, the Bucks. So he bounced around a little bit there at the end of his basketball career. It's nice to have him back, part of the Mavs family. But Matt, we'll go to you on this one. But how soon, talking about Jet coming back and him getting a GM job and all that, how soon do you think we could see Dirk potentially getting some kind of front office role with the Mavs, or even, like we discussed earlier, potentially being a part owner with Mark Cuban?
Well, I'm going to sound a little bit like Fish here. If you go to 105.3thefan.com, you can see Bennett Skin's interview with Dirk. It's a great interview. They talked to him a lot about life outside of basketball, including his tennis event that was held recently. And in that, he talks about how he just kind of wants to be away from everything for a little while. He still wants to, go to some games, take his kids to some games, but he wants to be able to travel. He wants to enjoy his life, and he knows that whenever he decides he wants to make that jump, then he'll be welcomed with open arms by Mark Cuban. So I think the way it sounded, he's going to take at least a year before he does anything like that. We'll see him in a few home games. He's going to be in Germany a lot. He's going to be around the world. And he just accepted a job with FIBA, I believe, as international players, some sort of position with them. I can't remember exactly. But so, it's going to be a little while, but eventually when he finds something that he feels like he could excel at and help the organization, he's going to take it. It just depends on what position that is and when it comes available.
Yeah, that chair position he got with FIBA, I think he's on that at least through 2023. So I don't know how busy that's going to keep him. I don't know if that's just like a, certain time of the summer each year that he has to do that, but that's how long he's signed up for that. But we're going to move on to our last topic here, and it's still about Dirk, but it's not about, the ownership or front office positions or anything like that. How soon are we going to have to wait? Because with other former Mavs, we're still waiting on a lot of stuff. Cuban told DallasBasketball.com that they were going to retire the cowboy hat. Mr.
Don Carter.
Oh my goodness, I cannot even believe. Y'all should just fire me right now. Anyway, Don Carter's iconic cowboy hat. They're eventually going to retire that.
Is that in the rafters yet?
Not to my knowledge.
So there's just going to be a cowboy hat hanging from the rafters, or how's that going to work?
That wouldn't be bad. A gigantic cowboy hat is not a bad idea.
I mean, Matt, it's iconic. It's got to be up there. But anyway.
And then there was a player that was supposed to go up, right? Pretty soon.
Well, they retired Derek Harper's.
Derek Harper happened, yeah.
And we're still waiting on people, like Jason Terry and I don't know. Jason Kidd.
You got to get Rolando Blackman up there eventually. Is he retired
Rolando
yet?
Blackman.
I guess he is. Yeah. But
Yeah, his jersey's up there.
Yeah, it is. You got to put one guy at the front of the line, and it's got to be Dirk. And it doesn't matter if it's this season or next. He has to be the next one, if you ask me.
Cuban obviously knows his way around the marketing world, and I would assume that they would borrow a page from the Cowboys here. You notice that the Cowboys very strategically, they'll have an announcement of a Ring of Honor guy at what might otherwise be a less exciting game or maybe even a lower attended game. So there's a strategy to how to do all this, whether it's the Don Carter hat or a Dirk Nowitzki or whatever we do. It needs to be, and I think will be meticulously planned to gain the most interest for the movement. And then, of course, someday will come a new stadium, at which time we will also, I assume, see a Dirk Nowitzki gigantic bronze one-legged Euro leanback statue outside. In the meantime, we get Dirk on the floor at the AAC.
Yeah. So awesome.
And you know, we've done a good job on it, but frankly, like we need to find out whose idea it was.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that guy, whoever thought of that, because I never thought of anything like that. Have you?
No.
I don't know if I've seen anything like that. Does anybody do anything like that?
No. That's what's so cool about it. Nobody has ever done anything like this before. He's on the court.
If you're a Mavericks fan and you're watching and listening to this, go to db.com boards on dallasbasketball.com and tell us if you've seen something like that. Maybe there's something in college football where I don't know, but a silhouette of an actual person on a basketball court doing an actual person thing is really creative. And how fun will it be? I think Cooperstein, and maybe follow up, but for sure Cooperstein has already suggested, I might say, when a guy takes a jump shot from there, you know, Hardaway from the Dirk, from the right side Dirk, and it can be a thing. And wouldn't it be glorious?
It could be the start of a really, really cool tradition for sure. But yeah, I think all these other people that we would like to see in the rafters at American Airlines Center, like Matt said, I think it's just kind of been put on hold until we get to Dirk. So I definitely expect at least a jersey retirement to happen this year. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. But
I'd like to see somebody try and wear number 41 before it's retired and see how that goes over.
No, they put on the Mavs website, Mavs.com, or the shop store or whatever. They had Curry as number 31. And there was a little bit of outcry about that. Like, no, they can't do that. They still haven't retired Jets jersey. So it definitely wouldn't go over well with people trying to wear Dirks. But guys, look, that's going to do it for this episode of the Step Back. We appreciate y'all tuning in, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast platform. We're going to try and do this a lot more going forward. Just a quick reminder that we do have a opening night tickets giveaway for Mavs and Wizards at American Airlines Center. All you have to do is go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and just leave us a review. You know, put your Twitter or Instagram name on there so we can identify you if you win. And that's all you have to do. Just subscribe and write us a review. That's it. Guys, we appreciate it. Be sure to check out everything on DallasBasketball.com.
If you go on there for a review in an attempt to win tickets and your review is simply "fish sucks" and you win, I will come sit with you at the game.
Right.
Hashtag.
Hey, look, put whatever you want to, but as long as you put a review and it's got that Twitter or Instagram name on it, you're officially entered into that random drawing. Yeah. We're gonna do I'm gonna do a live Twitter feed. You know, I'm gonna get all the names and put them in there, and it's gonna be a live deal. So y'all know we're not playing favorites.
Yeah, and that'll be on our YouTube channel, by the way. So go subscribe to our YouTube channel ASAP.
Which is
just Step Back Mavs.
Okay.
Yep.
So it should be easy to find.
Step Back Mavs. And guys, the reason we're trying to, if we get to 1,000 subscriptions on YouTube, we can start doing like live broadcasts. Like if the Mavs game is over and we want to talk about it immediately and do it live, so you get it live, we have to be at 1,000 before we can do that. So be sure to go on there and subscribe to that. But guys, appreciate it.
Let's go.
Guys, appreciate it again. We'll see you next week. See you guys.
Looking like Dirk and Nash in the gap. They just want a ring, want to fill the gap on your team head. I ain't talking hats, dang, go relax. Till later. Past champs, defense still coming with the got the best flow. The Mavs the best on the flow. I'm wild, but yeah, I'm the GOAT. This game get cold. Yeah, you might need a coach, your friends turn into your foe. But I'ma just roll, gotta keep rolling your boat. Yeah, I swear I give them hope. I say I'm cleaner than the soap. This time of year proves who will really sink afloat for real. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic. Post move deadly, yeah, get tragic. Yeah, it's the Mavericks, all about action. Don't do no acting, no Samuel Jackson. Dirk at the ball, you know that it's magic.